Dr. Jason Lemieux. I'm a chiropractor and the owner of Physio Mid Oakville, and we're going to talk about stretching, or we're going to talk about some misconceptions of stretching. So it's April, we're looking at maybe doing some stretching to make sure that we are able to get in a position so we can garden and not get hurt, or maybe we're going to look to play golf. It's been a long winter, we want to get back out on the golf course. So this time of year we talk a lot about getting out of the winter months and being more active and doing a lot of stretching. But oftentimes we do stretching as a way to create movement for movement's sake. We'll see a lot of people get into these really bendy positions, try to stretch out, but they don't have the strength to actually use the ranges of motion that they're trying to create. So I want to make sure that I can create as little a gap between my passive range of motion and my active range of motion as possible. So what do I mean by that? If we were to ask somebody to come down and see how tight their quads are, if I ask someone to reach back and grab their leg and see if they can pull their heel to their butt, a lot of people may be able to do this. But if I were to then ask them, okay, if you let go, with a lot of people, we'll see their leg just flops right back down to the ground. So the fact they can bring their heel to their butt is useless, and anything they do actively with their leg in that extreme position is probably going to be pretty dangerous on their knee. So if I'm going to create a passive stretch, I'm using external load on my leg to bring it into that area, I want to make sure that I learn how to stabilize the muscles in that position, so if I were to let go, I can maintain as high a percentage of that passive range of motion as I can. There's no point in having something that I can't use. Their passive range of motion is always going to be bigger, but if I can create as little a disparity between my active and my passive range of motion, it's going to dramatically decrease our injury risk. So what are some common areas that we end up stretching, and how can we apply that to normal stretches? Well, the amount of people that we hear say, oh, you know, I have really tight hamstrings. That may or may not be a thing. Maybe you just have some weak glutes and you've got overworked hamstrings. But if I'm going to lay down, and if I'm going to use a belt or a towel or a band, and if I'm going to pull on something to try to stretch out my hamstrings, we'll see a lot of people and again, we could see this range anywhere from people that feel a stretch kind of at 45 degrees, people that feel a stretch at 70, people that feel a stretch at 90. Wherever I get that stretch down my hamstring or down my calf, again, if I were to let go and my leg just zip back down, that's not getting me anywhere. So as I pull and I start to create the stretch, I want to feel like I can create tension throughout my body and stabilize my body so that if I did during this stretch start to let go, I can actually hold my leg in that position. Right? If that becomes too difficult, I can bring myself to the corner of a door or the rig in the gym. I can start sliding myself down where I can actively bring my legs up, pull my other leg down to get that stretch, but then make sure that I have enough strength to pick my leg up off the rig. So I'm trying to create an active component to the stretch. We see the same thing with our shoulders. It's a very common CrossFit warm-up to grab a PVC pipe and to lower your rib cage down to get a big stretch for your shoulders. But again, if I can passively stretch my shoulder to here, but I don't have the strength to hold it, once that barbell goes overhead, I'm probably going to be in a little bit of trouble. So if, as I engage the stretch, I can create tension through my body so I can actually lift the PVC pipe up, now I'm going to start to create strength through that range of motion, and I'll own more of that range of motion. Last one we're going to look at is we see a lot of people that have a hard time creating a squat. One of the reasons for that is they have no strength in their hip flexors. We demonize our hip flexors and we tell everybody to stretch out their hip flexors. The unfortunate thing is a lot of people miss the fact that their hip flexors are really weak. So if I'm going to do a very popular position that helps with my my squat, if I come down into a mountain climber or a spider lunge, I want to know that if I'm going to drop my body and use gravity to get my hip into flexion, can I actually lift my foot up off the ground? Do I have the strength in my hip flexor to actually be in that position so that when I do grab a kettlebell or a barbell and try to squat, I've actually got the strength to take myself through that range of motion? If I don't, then I'm going to load something that potentially I have no control over, and then we're rolling the dice. The incidence of getting hurt is going to go way up. So there's nothing wrong with doing static stretching. You can definitely help improve your mobility. But don't forget that you have to be strong and you have to earn that range of motion. Passive range of motion alone is not going to get you anywhere.